Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Factorio Masochists Marathon. So we start the episode off having a little cleanup of some of the outposts up in the northeast, because there's a couple of things I want to make sure are going to be okay while we spend pretty much the whole episode doing biter clearing. There's a whole load of areas I want to get cleared up, some of which I probably should have done ages ago. Last episode we were doing all sorts of stuff. It was a very jam-packed episode. It's something I just wanted to try out with editing and stuff. I probably won't do an episode that jam-packed again in the future because I realised there was a lot of things I wanted to talk about that I didn't, but hey, I can probably take the opportunity to talk about those in this episode. Anyway, we get those miners that we've taken away added to the only copper outpost currently mining, just to make sure that doesn't run out during the biter clearing, and we can just do loads of science and not have any interruptions of running out of anything. I don't think we would have run out of copper, but just to be sure. Anyway, leaving the copper outpost there, we actually lose the power pole going up to the north, so I have to quickly ride that back, get that sorted, and then we get a load of other biter attacks because the train tracks are just too near some bases, or some bases have moved near the tracks. So I end up driving all the way back with the car to come and pick up some turrets. I also put some underground belts in for the steel feeding onto the main bus to make sure that takes priority, because we have loads in the logistics system, and I actually need to put some sort of a limiter to make sure we're not having steel being brought in when we got so much in the logistics system. We also had a look at the biter evolution scale there. It's at 0.969. So yeah, I do try and check it as much as I can just to see how much it grows. This episode, probably with the most biter slaying ever in this series in a single episode. But yeah, I need to put some sort of a limit on to say, don't send the steel train when there's so much in the logistics system. Now, I kind of wish they'd put it in where you could just add the signal, connect it up to the logistics system like you can with an inserter, but last time I tried that you couldn't. That was a while ago, so I don't know if they've changed it. I kind of want to have a solution where I don't have to install the train mod for it. I can't remember the name of it, and I don't want to have to put circuits all along all the power poles, but that may be the solution I have to use. I don't know if I can do some crude thing with an inserter that passes an item along and the signal goes off when the item's in a chest. I don't know if I actually want to do that because it's a bit bodged. Anyway, the area we clear first is this area near the steam power, sort of south of that northeast rail. An area which I probably should have cleared ages ago. I was just afraid to, due to the evolution factor. I was worried that that was going to go too high and I wouldn't be able to deal with it. And this area's been sealed off a while ago. I don't think any biters can actually expand here. Maybe there's a little bit of a gap on the rail heading northeast, but we do sort that out in a little bit. But yeah, 10 times speed, which I should probably mention this episode is at. It doesn't take us very long to clear this area. But I was thinking while doing this biter clearing, I was so glad I made the decision early on in the series to go for lasers so early. Because doing this with turrets, with ammunition, would have taken a lot longer in my opinion. And it's just nice having the effective ammunition with me at all times, basically the power. Just as long as that doesn't get cut off, and the biters just seem to ignore power poles altogether unless they're obstructing them physically, or there's some weird scenarios where they do go for them. But in these situations, they don't really seem to be bothered by them. And with my increased long reach, I can just dump the turrets right next to each base, and you probably see a lot of that this episode. But yeah, I wanted to have a lot of biter slaying in this episode because I've edited it out so much recently, and we haven't really had a biter clearing episode. So I thought, let's do that, and to make it not too boring, let's do it at 10 times speed. The only problem with having prolonged footage at 10 times speed is when I'm doing my post commentary in the preview in Adobe, it kind of goes very glitchy, and the video and sound all go out of sync, and I can't actually see immediately what I'm commenting on unless I pause, wait for it to buffer. There are solutions around it, like pre-rendering your previews, which take ages, and it's going to add, I think, in roughly around an extra hour on the time it takes me to produce this. Because there's something like 3 hours of gameplay, and I only had today, with being Saturday, to make this episode, I wouldn't have finished until like 8, 9 o'clock tonight. So yeah, I wouldn't have put the episode out until Sunday. Hopefully I will get this out today on Saturday, but it will be a lot later than usual. But me talking about this now is kind of pointless because I don't actually know when this is going to go out. Anyway, I just freeze the frame here just so you can see the area I've cleared, pretty much where this squiggly horrible power line is going through the middle of. But yeah, that bit is done. On to the next section. But before then, I do have to come and clear this power pole, obviously. I think I just said that. But yeah, we come and clear all this out at this speed. It is very nice and quick. And we do it in the car. The music and sound being very weird at 10 times speed. But I come and stick a couple of radars in just so we can see the whole area. Don't know really if there's any point really, but it's nice now you can have the zoom in function on the map, so kind of made sense. A couple of worms there I also missed out, or was it just one worm? So I'm going to leave those those turrets along this line just here to stop any expansion coming out. But I wanted to just come and clear out these nests as well. In between the iron 4, I think it is, or iron 3, and the circuit production area, just so we can stop any expanse going down. But also the attacks on electronics 1 will only ever come from the north. So we sort of use power off from the side to come and clear the nests. And then I eventually stick some turrets in the middle of the gap, roughly where biters will try and get through. But we can see over time whether they try and come and repopulate the area. And then if they don't, I can take the turrets off on the line running east just below me, and then we can reuse them somewhere else. And we come and do the same on the west side of Electronics 1, which means we can save a whole load of turrets in places. But these are all temporary until this area is completely cleared up to bottlenecks in the north. And we just come and clear these bases out here. So no longer are we going to have any bases appearing near the rail, at least in this area. And I come and stick some anti-expansion turrets up on this rail heading up to Steel 1 as well. Clearing out this last base, I can come and steal this substation and these turrets down here. So I've got quite a few turrets on me, over 200 on average, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, we've got plenty of real estate now, nice clear area where we can come and build any kind of outposts. I'm going to need to do a advanced circuits outpost soon and a processing units outpost. Don't know if I'm going to do a separate plastics outpost or just do it at advanced circuits, because I'm pretty sure that's the only place plastics really used. There's no point doing a separate plastic station. I just need somewhere where there's loads of coal and crude oil in one place. That can be where the advanced circuits are, and then I can just bring in the electronic circuits from a new electronic circuits outpost. I won't use it from the current one. That can be for feeding the base primarily for now. Yeah, so that's basically the plan with that. But I haven't really found a suitable area yet. We need to head back to the factory because I want to collect a load of stuff. I did actually go and make a load of stack inserters to put in iron 7. The problem was when I got back to iron 7, I just forgot to put them down because I took like a break after the first hour and a half playthrough. And yeah, just basically forgot to place them. So we get shotgun damage 1 done. I don't know why I kicked that off, but we finished worker robot speed just before that when we got to the factory. And near the start of the episode, we also finished the final laser shooting speed upgrade. I kind of forgot to mention it at the time because I was on a rant about something else. But yeah, once we'd finished that, we then kicked off Worker Robot Speed 3 because it's going to be handy with the construction robots with all this biter clearing. And then for some reason I did Shotgun Damage 1, mainly because I think it's red only science and I kind of want to get all those out of the way, clean them up. We should have done them all by now, but yeah, I just kind of picked it because it was quick and I wanted to see how quick it was at 10 times speed. Anyway, we start clearing this area as well, which is kind of southwest of Iron Outpost 7. We also had a look at the evolution scale, which is at 0.971. And another thing we did, again, I'm doing this terrible thing where I edit too much and there's too much for me to talk about. But we also checked on the Kovacs enrichment processing area just to see how well that's getting on. It's now got enough for the cycle to run through for all 4 of those centrifuges. So now what happens is whenever the belt backs up with 235, the circuit condition detects that there's 7 items on the belt and then allows a few through to the logistics system. Now, I should have been really talking about this last episode, but I kind of got carried away with the editing and realized afterwards that I kind of wanted to talk about it more. But yeah, I quite like the layout because it works that way. So there's now, I think, 90 in the logistics system and another 60 odd that's come out of the refining area. So plenty of 235. I'm really not worried now about the reactor area using up too much 235. I know we're going to have loads. In the future, it might be a good idea to put in some sort of a system that only feeds the reactors when some steam buffers run low. But for now, I'm going to leave that initial reactor area as it is. And then if I put in a second one as a backup for when too many laser turrets fire at once, I'll then put that in. And then once that's in, I may delete this one and rebuild it. Just because uranium at the moment is my primary power supply. I don't want to rebuild that whole area. So that's probably how I'll go about doing it. I mean, the amount I'll save is negligible, but either way, there's no harm in doing it. So anyway, I'm clearing down all these gaps in between these little lakes here. Initially, the idea for this area was there would be a wall of turrets just north of the mini-map there where you can see that huge 8 million coal patch. It would run across there, but then I saw these little lakes here. It would be more biter clearing to have this area, but it uses less turrets, plus gives me another nice area for another outpost. So this could be a good place for advanced circuits to be made, because there's 8 million coal here, so we're never going to run out of that. The only thing is I'd have to bring in the crude and process it through to plastic and combine that with the coal. Maybe then take that off to somewhere else with advanced. I don't know. There may be a proper ideal spot that turns up with crude, coal, iron and copper. That would be amazing to just do it all, electronic circuits into advanced, so on and so forth. But I think it would be kind of good to have a second and probably third electronics outpost. I don't know. I really want to start clearing ground now so we can start to find some proper nice patches. There's some nice areas south of the factory, west of the factory, but I kind of want to have this linear line running up northeast. So I'm going to kind of stick with that, but we'll see how it goes. We may get desperate for iron at some point. We have just accessed that 4 million patch, which is going to last us quite a while. I need to get those stack inserters on there to speed the feeding of that up. Upgrade the belts to red and completely covered in miners. So we're getting as much iron as we can from there, and then I can, work on getting up to the northeast and seeing how far we can take that linear line. I'm going to need to leave a lot of space on that line to obviously upgrade it to 4 tracks, because the amount of trains coming through is going to be huge. I've never actually got to that level, so I don't know how I'm going to do my track layouts because I've never experienced it. I don't know what works best, but I'm sure I'll work it all out when we start doing it. But yeah, generally with the biter pushing, you can see what's going on. I'm just putting poles out as close as I can to the nests with long reach, and then just chucking in a loads of laser turrets and then cleaning them up with the bots. Evolution factors now at 0.972, so slowly creeping up a lot faster than it would normally with time and pollution. So finally we can come and take this wall out that I put in probably right at the start of the series. I was going to fill in all these bottlenecks and clear that whole area, and then just didn't do it because I never realised how bad the evolution scale was. So we put some turrets along those tracks there to stop any expansion coming down from the north. We also put some here south of Iron 7 as well. I don't know why Iron Outpost 7 is so easy for me to remember compared to the others. Maybe it's because I've just created it, and if I keep talking about it, it's nice and easy to remember. So next area to clear is this whole area north of Iron Outpost 7. I just want to get rid of it all. It kind of works its way all the way up to the current copper outpost, which I can't remember the number of because I haven't talked about it in so long. So we get the speed module 3 research finished. We did finish the previous one. I forgot to mention it again. We get efficiency module 2 kicked off, but that doesn't take very long at all. That's going to finish in not too distant future. So with this area, again, I just start clearing up from the south, clear up to a certain point with stupid amount of turrets I've got on me. It's so much easier with too many turrets because you can just keep pushing out and out until you've cleared a nest, bring it back, move the power poles forward, and then, yeah, just carry on clearing. So we've pretty much reached this lake here, so I need to put in some temporary sets of turrets to stop any expansion coming past. Hopefully these will be strong enough, so long as there's not pollution dragging biters into these. I'll have to keep an eye on the pollution created by Iron Outpost 7 and then see where I need to put more to deal with the pollution attacks. One thing I forgot to mention early on in the episode, when we went back to the factory the first time and iron was really thin, is because I'd sent one of the iron trains to start using Iron Outpost 7, but File was still there, and that train was just sat there waiting behind File, and we only had one iron train running, which was running to the Iron Outpost that is pretty much depleted now, the one we stole a load of miners off, and Iron Outpost 6, the one up in the north, the kind of half iron, half copper patch. So yeah, I forgot to mention that earlier because I've just got so much to talk about with the episode at this speed. Now, I wouldn't normally do an episode like this completely at 10 times speed, but it kind of worked well with the biter clearing. I didn't have to cut loads of it out, and it's kind of interesting. I haven't done an episode pretty much like this in this series yet, I don't think. I did it in Bob's Angels, but I haven't done a full episode of just pure biter slaying. But I don't know how many hours I said earlier, but there's like 3.5 hours worth of biter slaying altogether. I think the first hour was the area near the steam engine, then an hour and a half doing the area around south west of Iron 7 and this area up here, and then the final hour is on the last area we clear in a little bit, but we'll go into that obviously when we start doing it. So halfway through clearing this area, once putting in those temporary defences over in the east, I then drive up all the way around to the copper outpost and start pushing down from here. It just kind of felt natural to. It didn't really matter which way I did it, but we pretty much get all of these cleared out. I have to come and push around all these trees here, which was a tiny bit awkward, but the trees will kind of help with stopping the expansion. I don't know what it is. Biters don't seem to want to expand through trees very much. I kind of discovered that with the turrets I put down in the south where coal outpost 1 was. I always struggle with talking about copper and coal at the same time because they both start with the letter C. Oh dear. Anyway, so we get some temporary turrets in again. These are literally just to stop expansion. They're not expected to stop pollution attacks. If they do get hit regularly by pollution, I'll have to come and have a look at it. So we get a nice few seconds looking at the area we've just cleared up. I don't bother doing a freeze frame there because it's fairly clear. I'll do a nice zoomed out view at the end of the episode and we can see the final cleared up area. But yeah, this episode we are focusing a lot on the northeast. It's generally where all the mining and pollution is being created. I will one day sort out the southwest. There are a couple of bottlenecks there I like the look of, but then north of the lake, down in the southwest, if that makes sense, it's then a very big area. So it would be good to push out, stick a radar in, and see if there's any more bottlenecks in that area I can utilize. So we finished efficiency module 2 around when we were just doing about half the area south of the copper. I think that might be right. But then we kicked off efficiency module 3. I think that's the last thing we need to research before we can kick off power armor. But yeah, that'll finish in a moment or two, and then we get the power armor research kicked off. We definitely won't finish it this episode because I think it's 1600 of every science pack apart from productivity science pack. So yeah, that's going to be quite a slow process, but nothing like the whole Kovarax experience or the final laser turret damage. So there we go, efficiency module 3 done, and we kick off power armor 2, and at 10 times speed it doesn't go too badly. Some of the science packs will have built up though while we were doing the module research, so it will go quickly to begin with, and then it'll probably slow down a bit. We did have a look at the science area early on in the episode, and it did look like it was running pretty well. There was all of the science packs available, but I'm guessing that's just because of everything had buffered back a bit. But I don't know, it seemed to be going well at the time, but we definitely need to sort out the supply of advanced circuits, and then naturally after that it's going to be a shortage of processing units, which we're going to need a hell of a lot of for all the modules I want to put in absolutely everywhere, but that's going to help us massively with our productivity. So this last area we're clearing, I wanted to clear for a while simply because of how nice a bottleneck it is. There's a couple of iron patches here, very small. I don't even think they both add up to 1 million, but you can see the little one there, and then there's a tiny one bigger just above it. I don't know if it's going to be worth even the iron to put a station in for it, but I might just mine it up anyway just to keep the map nice and clear. But yeah, it might be kind of pointless for the amount of iron we'll get for it. The other reason I wanted to push out to here, not just because of the lovely bottleneck, and it was a nice efficient area to clear, was I wanted to get a radar in right on this sort of north little bottleneck here, which is right on the edge of the fog of war. So we'll get to see a lovely area up in the north to see if it is worth clearing north of Uranium 1, because there's 2 iron patches up there we detected absolutely ages ago, right around when we first pushed up to Uranium 1. There's 2 iron patches, both 1 million each. So half of what Iron 7 is, it's just the rate in which we'll be able to mine it without any kind of modules will be pretty quick. So if we do get desperate for iron, it's going to be worth pushing there to grab those, and maybe we'll discover some bottlenecks as well, and it'll be a nice little area to supply us with some other stuff, and might be a good location for an outpost. But yeah, I do want to kind of stick to the whole linear line in the northeast, but maybe that's a really bad idea because of how busy the single track will get. I don't know. We're just gonna have to see how it goes. That's the dream anyway, linear track. So we get the bottlenecks put in. This second one, I do kind of put it in a bit too far forward, and then I end up rebuilding it and moving it back. But you get the general idea. This is a pretty tasty bottleneck to fill in, and it's just a good place to get a radar in and get that area scanning again, just to see which directions are the best to push him. And here we are, me rebuilding it again, but I'm very close to completely filling up my inventory. So I hope you've enjoyed the slightly different episode from normal, all this spider slaying at 10 times speed. I'm going to go and watch it after it's rendered to see how well it's actually come out, because my preview is pretty crap when running at 10 times speed. I come and finally put in some turrets here just to stop expansion coming in from north of Steel 1. So we drop down to normal speed for the last bit, would you believe, just to take a look at the area we've cleared. A couple of areas here that need turrets sorting out as a base established right next to the defenses, which is annoying, and a bit of old wall there that was put in ages ago with that little coal bit south of that lake that needs some extra turrets putting in. But yeah, there's a couple of iron patches over here in the northeast, not really big enough to push out to, but there is a lake there I can use as a bottleneck, so I can just build this linear line running north. All this area where the cursor currently is going to be cleared soon, and then I'll put some defenses up in north of that lake just there that we've cleared south of. These are the two iron patches I was on about that may be worth pushing to if we get desperate. And then there's the area southwest of the base that needs doing. Iron Outpost 7 is doing pretty well. I'll probably need more trains coming in. Iron Outpost 4 has been fully depleted, so we take that out of the trains schedule. I should really add 7 in to this one. But yeah, I can't communicate with past me, who's currently in control. Either way, with all that said and done, that's going to be all we have time for. I do hope you have enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and please do come and join us in the next episode. Bye-bye.